Journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Now, of course, many left-leaning people on Twitter will like to point out that what I just showed you is from the Sinclair News Network, so it's right-wing propaganda. It doesn't make it okay, by the way. It is a tool that the corporations use, which makes it sound like you have all these journalists using their own thoughts and opinions rather than reading from a script, and it creates this level of artificial consensus. I mean, if the person on television or the holy blue checkmark is saying it, then it must be true. This is how the overwhelming majority of people think. And there is a lot of training in our culture which is trying to set people to say things not that are true, but instead to say the things that are considered to be socially appropriate. So even if you don't believe in something, as long as the people around you are going to say, oh, well, that's the correct speech to have, then a lot of people are going to say it. And the way they create what is socially appropriate or not is through tactics like you've seen previously. And you can also see this on Twitter. Now, one of the biggest political scandals that is unfolding right now, and I would say it's probably one of the biggest from my lifetime, seems to be that Twitter was working hand in hand with the government in order to censor American citizens. And there is no doubt about it. Up until now, many people knew that this is the case, but they couldn't have proven it. But now there is proof of it. So how does the media run damage control? Well, it's a tactic that they often employ, which is that of shooting the messenger. If they can't tackle the message, then clearly the messenger is a problem. So Elon Musk, instead of doing the correct thing and taking this information to the mainstream corporate press, he actually gave it to someone called Matt Taibbi, which is a Substack journalist, a citizen journalist, if you will, and gave him the Twitter files so that he can write his own expose. And now you can see how people on Twitter, a lot of blue check marks, they're using the literally exact same talking points by saying, imagine volunteering to do online PR work for the world's richest man. And notice how the PR and world's richest man are being boldened. Like, this is what's interesting, is that these are the words that should be highlighted. Friday night in service of nakedly and cynically right-wing narratives. Imagine throwing it all away to do PR work for the world's richest man. Doing PR for the richest person. So I guess this is why the mainstream media didn't want to cover this, because they don't want to do PR for the richest person. They want to do PR for the CEO of CNN, or they want to do PR for the CEO of MSNBC, or they want to do PR for Nancy Pelosi. But, you know, they may be rich, but they are not the world's richest person. It's also quite hilarious because this doesn't necessarily do PR for Elon Musk. I mean, he's just showing what was happening at his company. It doesn't make him look any good or bad. It depends what he's going to do with the platform moving forward. That's going to create good or negative PR for him. But anyway, I just wanted to show you these, which I've easily found within a couple of hours, and there's probably more of them. And if you think that this is the only example, I want to point out that no, this is not the case. Back during the lockdowns, you had many people that were posting literally the exact same thing. I speak for the whole of America, or in this case, I speak for the whole of the United Kingdom, when I say we need a hard 6-month lockdown. None of this essential work or exercise crap like last time. Masks to be worn at all times, even at home. Strictly enforced. We can then begin a gradual easing, but letting folks out a year after booster. And like, these were all over the place. And I remember that even if you tried to flag them, even if you pointed out that they're bots, like, no one would believe you, right? It's quite funny because when you have, like, an actual protest, like, for example, during the trucker protest, which is a big scandal in Canada right now, they would also say, oh, there's a lot of bots on social media. Or when there's a movie that people don't like from Disney, oh, there's a lot of bots on social media. But when you actually go with the fucking evidence and you actually show the bots, all of a sudden, no one is concerned about botting. Isn't that hilarious? I remember, like, the worst example, like when I became aware to this, was during an attack on Christians. I don't remember the exact connotation because it happened years ago, but what I do remember is that a lot of politicians, including Hillary Clinton, they posted a very similar message within a couple of minutes of each other, and calling this an attack on Easter worshippers. And this is why I drag my attention, because, like, okay, like, technically, you can say that Christians, you know, they worship the resurrection, so you can tie it like that, but, like, no one calls Christians Easter worshippers. Like, the fact that they were trying to avoid the word Christian was absolutely hilarious, and that they were trying to avoid it using the same phrase. Which goes to show that behind the scenes, there are either PR campaigns or coordination happening. Probably PR campaigns. I do not believe that the actual Twitter of Hillary Clinton is used by Hillary Clinton herself. Like, she probably has staff, which is organizing it. Same with Joe Biden, same with many other people. But there is coordination either between the people handling these accounts or the PR companies. And the whole purpose of these coordinations is to make it create the illusion that there is a consensus. That all of these people are thinking the exact same things, and this is the thing that you need to think as well if you want to be welcomed in socially acceptable circles. And the good news is that this is why they need Twitter. They need Twitter in order to keep setting the narrative. Because without Twitter, it's more difficult to reach people nowadays, especially when overwhelmingly people do not watch TV anymore. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.
Sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.